Look, I don't trust or distrust anybody. I just want to get a deal done. And if the deal happens, good. But you can't embolden somebody that does not have the cards, and all of a sudden that person says, oh, well, now I can keep fighting. We're not going to keep fighting. You're going to get the war done or let them go and see what happens. Let them fight it out.
Well, in case you were wondering where President Trump was after the meeting with Volodymyr Zelenskyy, it's up to them. But I'm not here to say, hey, we'll help, and then have them say, well, it's great. Now I'm going to go abuse that guy some more, or I'm going to go yell at that guy some more. I'm going to call him names some more. I'm going to make other demands. What we saw in the Oval is not the end of days. It's not the end of times, although admittedly, it was surprising. And while many people immediately ran to their tribalist corners, I wanted to understand it. That's what we did. We broke it down. And I am left in the same place with some of this as I was then. Who in the world thought Trump would just sit there and take that? Why would anybody have wanted Trump to just sit there and take that? If more than a decade ago, Rahm Emanuel was screaming at Benjamin Netanyahu's people, Rahm Emanuel, the then chief of staff to Barack Obama, your blanking leader, meaning Netanyahu, doesn't blanking lecture to our blanking president in the blanking Oval Office. That's the quote. Why was it okay then and not okay now? Why would that ever be okay? I'm a guy who's supportive of Israel. Don't be lecturing the president in the Oval. It's a bad idea. So what is it that actually led to it? Where was the breakdown? Is this a problem? Allow me to help. If I didn't say hello, Tony Katz, the name of the show is Tony Katz Today. You can find the live stream, of course, and comment there on YouTube, on Rumble, on X, on Facebook, LinkedIn as well. And you can call in 833-GOT-TONY. If you go to TonyKatz.com, I ended up writing basically a tome of just letting it all pour out on where I was on Trump, Zelenskyy, Vance. Because I think I'm the only person who has a commentary about J.D. Vance, the vice president, where I say he's the guy who missed the mark. I'm not defending Zelenskyy. Zelenskyy was wrong. I'm not defending Trump. I am surprised anybody is amazed by Trump's response. Now, could Trump have responded differently? Sure, we can discuss that. But I'll get to J.D. Vance. But let's start with the basic. I went through this list, and I want to share it with you because I think that there are a lot of places where people are ideological and not rational. First things first, they had a deal, and Zelenskyy changed the deal, or at least attempted to. That was the purpose of his response to J.D. Vance when J.D. Vance said we were utilizing diplomacy. Now, J.D. Vance went out of his way to interrupt President Trump in order to say it. That we were engaged in diplomacy. This wasn't Joe Biden. This was a new day and a new group of people. Now, I question then why he wanted to jump in, but it's not the worst thing to jump in with in the world. It was a fine thing for him to say, not a problem at all. The problem came with Volodymyr Zelenskyy then saying, whoa. What diplomacy are you talking about? We signed this deal with Vladimir Putin. We signed that deal with Vladimir Putin. We signed this contract. We signed that. He reneged on everything. What diplomacy are you talking about? As the people who are upset with President Trump will note, whether they be on the political left or the political right, that is an acceptable question. And the answer there is very difficult considering the amount of times that Vladimir Putin has broken his word. That is not the issue. The issue is the presentation in which Volodymyr Zelenskyy engages this conversation that made it destined to fail and provide him no value whatsoever. My father, may he rest in peace, used to refer to the fact that sometimes somebody will screw you over, but you know why they're screwing you over? It's business, they screw you over. Sometimes you're on the receiving end, sometimes you're on the giving end. That's life. But he said it's the guy who screws you over for no good reason, who gains nothing from it. That's the dangerous person, because they really are operating from a place of sheer madness. What was Volodymyr Zelenskyy going to get from his desire to engage a tongue lashing of the vice president? Now, I will tell you that hearing J.D. Vance's response, I don't think now is the place to litigate the thing. I thought that was J.D. Vance caught a little off his game. J.D. Vance is good. And when he gave the answer to Martha Raddatz about a handful of Venezuelan criminals, gangs taking over apartment complexes, just a handful of apartment complexes, and he said to Martha Raddatz, "Do you hear yourself?" That was the breakthrough moment. That was the moment that everybody knew that's the guy I'm going to vote for. When he gave when he said to Margaret Brennan of CBS, "I really don't care, Margaret," that was a strong moment. The speech about free speech in front of the Munich Security Conference, fantastic. That response to Volodymyr Zelenskyy, now I think he was caught a little bit off his game. And even that follow-up, why can't you just say thank you? The president needed you to make somebody grovel? That's what you were trying to get done. It didn't help. Well, this is not a defense of Zelenskyy. This is a clear understanding that J.D. Vance is unbelievably bright and his future is anything he wants it to be. Those two, after his first statement, which was just fine, not his best moments. I know some people won't admit to that because they won't say anything that is seen as possibly untoward toward the administration. Well, I'm not an idol worshiper. It wasn't his best moment. Now, I would believe that Trump would have been fine to let the conversation go, because Trump did not engage until Volodymyr Zelenskyy, in responding to J.D. Vance, said, "You've got this nice ocean separating you and Putin, but if we do not stop him, you will see what he does. You will see." Oh, that's the presentation issue. Why in the world, for what reason would Volodymyr Zelenskyy say this? He already has gone after a lecturing of the vice president. Now he's going to do it again. He doubled down. And for all the people who want to say Zelenskyy is a hero and Trump is the villain, stop being ridiculous people and recognize what happened in the Oval Office. The Oval Office, this seat of power, the power of the United States. That's what makes it so important. Trump knows where he is. The only person who ever avoided the Oval Office is Barack Obama. If you go back and watch Barack Obama's speeches, they did not come from the Oval. The Oval is the seat of power. And in the seat of power, you're going to basically threaten the president? That's crazy talk. That is a maddening proposition. And to think that a president should just sit there and take it is silly. Silly. I bring this up because it is clear, no matter who you are, that all this talk about an ambush is leftist claptrap nonsense. Volodymyr Zelenskyy did this to himself. He didn't have to go down this road. Volodymyr Zelenskyy did this to himself. That much is obvious. The idea that Trump is a Putin puppet or a Russian agent is daft. It's the same old boring conversation. It's ignorance. It's Trump derangement syndrome. It's ridiculous. Now, you could argue that Trump could have handled it differently. Zelenskyy is fighting for his life. He's fighting for the life of his people. They've lost 1 million plus. They're going to lose more. They need a way out. They're looking to get the help. They want the help. Be a nation that helps them. Don't be a nation that hits a guy while he's down. I think that is a fine thing to say. a fine thing to say. But it would have had more weight if Trump had just started saying, these clowns in Ukraine, they don't know how to do nothing. You guys, man, if it wasn't for us, you'd just be dead already. So why don't you kiss the ring and say thanks and let me have a go at your mother and all the rest. None of that happened. Zelenskyy started down this road first. Trump came to the table. Hate him, like him, don't care. Trump came to the table, and on 3 different occasions, a 1, then the 2, then the 3. Look at me, I'm like Lawrence Welk. 3 different occasions, Trump's team came to the table. Came to the table on a mineral rights deal. This was the 3rd time. Once at the Munich Security Conference, once in Ukraine, and this. And for a 3rd time, Volodymyr Zelenskyy found a way not to sign that minerals deal. Now, maybe it's because, as many are reporting, that Zelenskyy has a mineral rights deal with the United Kingdom that was signed 3 days before Trump took office. I get that people are saying that. I get that people are putting it out there, that this whole thing was just a scam to try and get more security. Even Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, has said, we, the United Kingdom, are going to put troops on the ground. I don't know what that could possibly look like, but we need security reinforcement from Trump. So that's left a lot of people saying, whoa. You're going to get the mineral rights deal and the billions of dollars, and we're just going to put up the bodies to make you rich? We're forgetting that Trump and his team are not fools, and they would have had to have known this about the UK before they put their deal out there. I assume that there might be enough for everybody, and there could be multiple deals. That would be my assumption. So let's not think that the Trump administration walked in here blind, not knowing that there was a deal with the UK. If you're going to have a deal that brings you these mineral rights, right? We're going to get these mineral rights and the rare earth minerals, and we're going to give the money to them and do this and do that. If we're going to invest billions of dollars, as we were discussing last week, you would think we're going to protect our investment. Why would Volodymyr Zelenskyy have to now scream for other security assurances when the multi-billion-dollar investor of the United States would assure him that we would be there to keep the country safe because we have investments at play? Important investments we want to keep China from. Who knows? Maybe Zelensky's blowing up the deal so he can get a better offer from China or from the whole of Europe, for all I know. What is it that Zelenskyy was trying to accomplish in that meeting? What I said after watching it, we caught it a bit live, and then we broke it down. And for some people, it's like, I don't think I've ever seen Tony speechless before. It's because I had to understand what I was looking at. Some people, they're so desperate to be first, and they think it means something to I gotta get this out there. I gotta get the clicks. I want to know what's going on. But I left that watching that thing, and I told you this. I couldn't understand what Zelensky's going for. I'm not going to be able to sleep. It's like an earwig. It's going to just keep running in my head. What is Zelenskyy doing? What is Zelenskyy doing? What is Zelenskyy doing? What is Zelenskyy doing? People make moves for a series of reasons. They make moves for economics, or they make moves for power, right? Leverage to another thing, personal gratification, which can be seen as power, right? So ego, power, ego, money. That's why people make moves. Somewhere, Volodymyr Zelenskyy got one of those things. He got power, he got ego, or he got money. Maybe he was able to get the whole of Europe to be more on his side and make these claims that they're going to do this and do that and do the other. As Major Mike Lyons, retired United States Army, will explain, nothing happens without the United States. Europe can't actually take on the threat of Russia, and they know it. I have got much on this meeting. I have got it all written there over at TonyKatz.com, and I break it down. But I want to start with the first part. Trump could have said anything. Trump could have niced it out, but he was under no pretext to do so. And I must admit that the people who claim that this was a Trump ambush, these are despicable low-life frauds, including Geraldo Rivera in this case, making this kind of evil claim, including Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut. This was no ambush. This wasn't Trump. Even the first comment by J.D. Vance could have been left alone by Volodymyr Zelenskyy. None of this had to take place. They could have gone to lunch, signed a deal, had a press conference, and had a sensible dinner. Zelenskyy did this. And the idea that Trump isn't going to defend America in the Oval is so insane as to be believed. I don't fault the man at all. Could you have handled it differently? Certainly. Does this mean the way it was handled was the worst? No. But it does show that foreign policy has indeed changed. It's changed in the United States. I'm not 100% sure if I love it, but I am 100% sure that we have to deal with the reality that is. The reality that is that Zelenskyy and Ukraine cannot survive a protracted war with Russia. The reality may very well be Russia wants this war to end because nothing's gone the way they want it to. Reality is Trump campaigned on ending the war, and however he could say, I ended it, that's what matters most. And it could be that Zelenskyy and Trump simply have competing interests. But it's for Zelenskyy to have to deal with, because he's the guy who needs the help. I have got much more on this. Have no fear. And it's not the only story of the day. Wait till you hear about border crossings. That's coming up. I'm Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today.